Hello, my friends. For today's reading, the first card out was Between Worlds, number 3. This is definitely a card of being neither here nor there. I call it limbo. Some people call it the void, I guess. So let's see, number 3. I will read it to you. Transitions, not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another. Temporary blindness, no man's land. The Oracle's message. Between the worlds is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place, between what was and what will be, is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root. But what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so, and you will not be disappointed. Protection message. Be mindful of your expectations. This is not a time for guarantees. Things will not go exactly as you plan or dictate. Let go and see what Spirit has in store. What takes hold in your life will be better than you can imagine. Well, that's nice. All right, the next one is 43, which I admit, Between the Worlds popped out like right away. And I was like, really? Didn't I just do that one not that long ago? And again? I don't know. I just felt like I needed another one. So we have number 43, Deep Knowing. Intuition, listening to the oracle within. Empathy, hypersensitivity. The oracle's message. Intuition is the faculty that allows you to enter into a dialogue with Source, the consciousness that you are a part of but cannot see with the naked eye. It's perplexing that people are taught to ignore this natural capacity to navigate their journeys, to access their inner guidance. Know that you have an ability to read between the lines and find all the truth that was missing when the story was told. This deep knowing allows you to open the door to wisdom far greater than what is available in the limitations of human experience. You're given information that may make no sense whatsoever to the logical mind or five senses, but which is 100% correct and true. The trick is to listen and then to act accordingly. You're now invited into this sacred dialogue of deep knowing. So tune in and trust your vibes. They will be right. Ask and you will receive answers from unusual sources. Protection message. You are in empathy overload and need to get grounded again. So tune out for a bit. Hypersensitive, you're suffering from psychic exhaustion. This signals a time for recharging of your batteries. Set energetic boundaries, take a salt bath, empty your mind, and get back to you. It's not a time to be too open. Soon enough, you can let your guard down. Right now, you need self-care and self-love. It's time to say no thank you to anyone in your life who exhausts you. Won't that feel good? Well, that is certainly a strategy you can employ while you are between worlds. And perhaps one that you should employ. There isn't, you're not supposed to be going here or there. You're just supposed to be being and listening to your intuition. And if you need to set boundaries, then you need to set boundaries. And respect whatever your process is. Okay. I'm sorry, I have a very odd feeling today. So who are you? Who are you that this message is for? All my readings are intended to be timeless, so I trust this message will find you when you need it. or you will find it when you need it, or it will benefit you. But who are you? It appears you are either a whale or a fire ant. Kind of a big difference between the two. Let's see what the book has to say. We're starting with the whale because I opened the book to the water section. Okay. Desire to delve deeper. Profound peace. Ancient wisdom. The whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost, and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hours. Sounds a bit hermity. When in balance, calm, steady, deeply compassionate. When out of balance, heavy, slips into old story. To bring into balance, regular self-care. It also reminds me of the moon. So the hermit and the moon. Okay, fire ant. Fire ant. Which would, of course, be the fire element. There we go. Aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. Sounds like you need to be balanced out by the whale energy. When in a balance, thoughtful, disciplined. When out of balance, argues, excess heat, gossips. To bring into balance, solo time, walks at night. All right, just so you know, this sounds very young. Young is yang is a temporary state, as is yin. Yin and yang are always moving, always turning into each other. So you can change this, is what I'm trying to say. And the whale is probably the suggestion for you. So perhaps you're in the in-between state because you are a fire ant trying to be a whale. That is a very ambitious goal and a worthwhile one. To balance things out between your fire and water. To develop some emotional intelligence and regulation. And then you will gain so much. You'll be able to listen to your knowing. It's a valuable skill. And certainly a worthwhile one. Let's see, how about how to move forward in this, with this. How does this whale fire ant person need to move forward? Expand your horizons. King of Pentacles has a crossing influence. King of Pentacles is very stable, is mature, is prosperous but also generous, kind, disciplined but not rigid. A very rich person, not only in belongings but also in life experience and compassion. Very grounded. And then we have the Seven of Cups. So this is all about making choices, making good choices, being able to tell illusions from the real thing. So discernment. Making your own choices, having your own authority. If you're going to be a King of Pentacles, you have to make your own decisions and take responsibility for your actions, inactions, and the consequences. And it seems you're battling your lack mentality. This is not unusual. You may be having some self-worth issues. It's very common. We live in a consumer society, which so in a consumer society, we have to feel a sense of lack. If we don't feel a sense of lack, then we won't go out and buy stuff. So all of the media that we are exposed to is actively trying to increase our sense of lack. You might want to think about that the next time you pick up your phone or turn on your TV. And finally, Two of Swords in reverse. The end of stagnation. Perhaps your time of neither here nor there is coming to an end. Two of Swords. Or perhaps you're giving up. The temptation to return to the status quo is always going to be there. That's why if you try to make too big a leap at once, you will fall back. But if you slowly build up your resources, your inner resources, your strength, and just ease your way out to the center, ease your way out of the center of whatever situation you're in, then it's much slower. It can be very tiring, but it's lasting. So it's like, I keep thinking of swimming. So when you're swimming and there's a current that's trying to push you away from where you want to go, your best bet is to swim at a diagonal. If you try to swim straight across, it's not going to happen. Depending on how strong the current is, it just won't work to begin with. And secondly, you'll tire yourself out a lot more quickly. But if you swim at more of a diagonal, then you're not fighting the current so hard. So you won't end up where you expected or wanted perhaps, but you will end up on solid ground again. And that's what you really want. So, swim at a diagonal. It's more subtle. Perhaps that's what you need right now. It's slower, but it will get you lasting results that you want. And I think I'm going to leave this here. I wish you all the best of luck.